If you notice since the Iran thing dropped, that MAGA is all over the place. They don't know which way's up. This is across all social media platforms. America first. Let's turn Iran into a parking lot. No new wars. Can't wait for Trump to recall us back to active duty. Wipe them off the planet. This is not what we voted for. And the reason why is really fascinating. They haven't been told what to think yet. They're uncomfortable right now because there's no clear way to settle their dissonance. Uh-oh.
She just dropped the most accurate read of the entire situation in one sentence. They haven't been told what they think yet. That line should be framed and hung in a museum, because you're watching it happen in real time. Across every platform, half are screaming, turn it to glass. The other half are saying, this isn't what we signed up for. It's not a political movement. It's a call and response where the call hasn't come in yet. Once the script drops, they'll all magically agree and pretend they were never confused.
We have some major developments this morning. Gas prices have surged, their highest surge, 11 cents overnight in months because of the war in Iran. It comes as the president of the United States is attacking those within his own MAGA coalition, including Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson, for speaking out against him and his decision to go to war in Iran. Oil and gas prices rise. The stock market is falling. The U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem has told Americans in Israel, we can't help you. And Donald Trump is saying, well, we have enough munitions for a possible forever war. At the same time, the FBI director fired numerous agents who worked on Iran counterintelligence. And well, Senator Mark Warner, who I'll be speaking with later this afternoon, the senior Democrat on the Intelligence Committee, says there is zero evidence to justify the fact that the United States of America struck Iran because there was no evidence to suggest that Iran was going to strike America first. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm working around the clock. Subscribe to my Substack. Click the link below to support my work. TikTok nuked and censored one of my videos on this morning, so we're doubling down, tripling down here, and I need your help to grow. So subscribe if you can. Let's jump right into it this morning. Gas prices. The average gallon price for a gallon of gas jumped 11 cents overnight to about $3.11 in the United States, according to AAA. That is the largest one-night increase we've seen in months, and it's the first time gas is over $3 a gallon in the United States on average in months.
Remember the I did that stickers on every gas pump in America? Where'd those go? Somebody collecting them, or did they just dissolve when the guy they liked took over? $3.11 a gallon after the biggest overnight spike in months. And the energy is nowhere near what it was. 2 weeks ago, the State of the Union claimed $2 a gallon, and now reality is slapping that number around like it owes money. That's not spin, that's a 50% gap between what was promised and what's at the pump. Right now, the receipts are there and they don't care about your feelings. If $3.50 was a crisis worth screaming about, then $3.11 heading in the wrong direction should at least get a whisper. But nah. Suddenly gas prices are just vibes.
Comes after just 2 weeks ago at the State of the Union address, the President of the United States falsely claimed that gas prices were at $2 a gallon on average across the country. Well, that number has risen to $3.11. And it comes as a civil war within MAGA is possibly brewing over what is happening in Iran. According to Rachel Bade, in a phone call with her, Donald Trump hit back at MAGA world critics over what he is doing in Iran, including Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson. Quote, Megyn Kelly ought to study her history book a little bit, he said when asked about the criticism she has lobbied on him. Tucker's criticism has, quote, no impact on the president. He says that MAGA is with him. I think that MAGA is Trump. MAGA is not the other two, referring to Kelly and Carlson. MAGA wants to see our country thrive and be safe, and MAGA loves what I'm doing, every aspect of it. Iran, he said, is a, quote, detour that we have taken in order to keep our country safe and other countries safe, frankly. And it comes as Trump is saying that we have enough stockpile of munitions for a forever war. The United States munition stockpiles have, at the medium and upper medium grade, never been high.
Is that everything? Yes. All right, that'll be $50 billion. Fuck!
So just a hot tip for fellow liberals and normal people. As you might have noticed, news announced that Trump and, America dropped bombs on Iran's Fordo nuclear facility in the mountain. And this is like a massive, massive escalation. And this is just a warning again to fellow liberals and centrists and normal people. MAGA are going to become so pro-war in the next 5 minutes, it'll make your head spin. So all this America first, we didn't want any wars, they're going to be you rah-rah in the next 5-10 minutes. It'll be shocking how quickly they will be like this is the war to end all wars kind of thing. So just get mentally prepared for the bullshit, because it's going to be incoming in about 5 minutes. So good luck, everybody.
5 minutes. He said give it 5 minutes and they'll flip completely pro-war. And honestly, that's generous because some of them didn't even wait that long. This is what happens when your political identity isn't built on principles. It's built on a person. You don't ask, does this align with what I believe? You ask, what does my side need me to say right now? That's not conviction. That's customer service. Anti-war crowd becoming the pro-war crowd overnight isn't evolution, it's obedience. And the people who call everyone else sheep while doing exactly this, the irony writes itself.
Hey MAGA, are you tired of winning yet? Since USA decided to attack Iran unprovoked, instead of choosing violence, they're just going to choose their strait, of which a lot of ships go through to transport goods, which means our prices in USA are going to go higher even more, thanks to our incompetent in chief, Donald Trump, which you voted for. So I don't want to hear anything about the economy, about things being expensive, about being afraid of war, because all of this was done by Trump, the Republican Party, by MAGA, and by every idiot that voted for him.
See, I told you, Democrats. Donald Trump just said that he got the grocery prices down across all of the United States by 80%. He said he did that.
80%? That's amazing. What stores? Because I just went to the store. The eggs are still $8. Milk is still $5. Where are the prices going down 80%?
Oh, what stores? Where's I don't really know any stores specifically. No one near me actually either. But he did say they're going down 80%.
The store. How do I take advantage of the low prices?
Well, yeah, and that is tricky. But I mean, Trump he said I pulled the switch and I brought prices down to 80% like I promised.
I just pretend the prices went down. Yo, that line is doing more heavy lifting than people realize, because satire aside, that is genuinely what millions of people are doing at the grocery store every single week. You're staring at $8 eggs and $5 milk and your brain goes, well, I was told things are cheaper, so maybe I'm the problem. That's not optimism, that's self-gaslighting, and it's happening on a massive scale. When you tie your identity to a political outcome you literally cannot afford to admit, the outcome didn't happen, because the L isn't about eggs anymore. The L means your whole worldview needs updating, and that's terrifying. So you just pretend the receipt says something different and move on with your day. Your wallet knows the truth even when your mouth won't say it.
And now they're cheap, but I mean, I don't know where they are either, but he said, Trump said,
if you're not seeing the prices going down, how will the prices actually, just because he's saying the prices went down 80%, doesn't actually mean the prices went. You have to actually see the prices going down when you go shopping. You do.
That's ideally, yes, but what I like to do is I just pretend that the prices went down. I pretend that it's not as expensive.
That means the prices didn't go down. If you're just pretending they didn't.
Genuine question for those that voted for lower grocery prices. What saith you? That's my question. What saith you? I haven't read the entire Time magazine interview, but he said that it's going to be hard to bring down the price of groceries because once they're high, it's hard to make them lower again. What did you vote for? What did you vote for?
And somewhat taken back in the increase in cost just in the last 2 weeks. A month, maybe 2 months ago, it was down as far as $3.60. So as you can see, in a very short period of time, it's a substantial increase.
Now this is the guy I actually feel for, because you can hear the honesty wrestling with the loyalty in real time. He sees the prices going up. He's not pretending it's fine. He even says, I don't believe it'll be short term. And then he drops the Crusades reference, which is actually a sharp historical observation. You never get done in the Middle East. That's not a political take, that's just history. But here's the tension, right? He knows all of this, and he's still holding the line. At what point does that stop being loyalty and start being self-harm? Your gut is telling you something, brother. Maybe listen to it.
Can't really do much about it. Prices are going to change, and what are you going to do? Knock, I guess. It's something that I try not to worry about because you can't control it.
efforts in Iran. I don't particularly like the fact that we're there, but I think it's necessary. Being afraid of their nuclear capabilities. We're being told that it's going to be a very short term. I don't believe that. You only have to go back and look at history and go to the Crusades. You never get done in the Middle East, ever.
Trump's war in Iran is going to make the affordability crisis worse. It's really just a matter of how much. This is how much a gallon of gas costs on average at the start of 2026. As we go from January to February, the average ticks up, pretty normal, and then February 28th.
Operation Epic Fury.
Operation Epic Fury has been a resounding success.
And this happens. By March 16th, it's $3.72 a gallon, and that's not normal. A huge reason is that about a fifth of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas are transported through one waterway, the Strait of Hormuz, and disruptions there can affect the entire global market. Iran controls the northern side of the strait, but since the war began, Iran has effectively blocked passage, with traffic through the strait dropping by more than 90%. And since the entire world runs on fossil fuel, this has caused a few problems. Take flying, for example. Here I have a chart for the cost of jet fuel. Under $2 a gallon in December, rises as the year begins. And for reference, a Boeing 737 holds almost 7,000 gallons of fuel, so it costs roughly $14,000 to fill up. And then the war shoots up to almost $4, which means by mid-March, it costs closer to $28,000 to fill up a plane. And since jet fuel is around a quarter of an airline's operating expenses, Air New Zealand is canceling over 1,000 flights, and Air France and Air India are already saying ticket prices could rise by about $50. But gas and travel aren't the only things that will be affected. Experts project food prices could also increase due to this war.
Okay, everybody needs to lock in right here because this is where the real damage gets exposed. The Strait of Hormuz traffic down over 90%. That's not a disruption, that's a shutdown. 1/5 of the world's oil and natural gas flows through that waterway, and it's basically closed. Jet fuel nearly doubled, which means airlines are canceling over 1,000 flights, and ticket prices jump $50 minimum. Fertilizer goes through Hormuz too, so your grocery bill is taking another hit in a few months. Guaranteed, and here's the one that should scare everyone. TSMC makes 90% of the world's advanced chips and runs on natural gas from Qatar. Qatar just suspended exports, so your next phone, your next laptop, anything with a processor, more expensive across the board. This is a cascading economic event, and it touches every single thing you buy, use, or depend on. Supply chains don't care about your politics, they just break.
20 to 30% of global fertilizer goes through Hormuz, which is why you may have seen people warning about the impact of more expensive fertilizer. But experts tell me that for the US, it would likely be months before that affected food prices meaningfully. However, fertilizer isn't the only variable that could drive up food prices. Think about transporting food from the farm to the processing facility, then transporting it to the distribution center, then transporting it to the supermarket, and all of the energy that those places require to function. Those are the things that will impact food prices soonest, I'm told. And then there are electronics. Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing company supplies 90% of the world's most advanced chips. The device you're watching this on likely has a TSMC chip in it. That same company also used about 9% of Taiwan's total electricity in 2024. It's like almost 1/10 of the electricity for the entire country. But unfortunately for really the entire world, a lot of that energy is produced through natural gas that comes from Qatar. And Qatar has suspended exports of natural gas due to the war. So for right now, we don't know how far this will go or how long the US will keep up this war. But we do know that it will come at great costs. Costs to our bank accounts, costs to us as taxpayers. It's costing $1 billion a day to pursue this war. And of course, what will be the greatest cost of this war? Human life.
Look, you have a kid, I have a kid. What's the price of eggs right now?
I don't know. I'm rich.
That's something that Yes. So give me some money.
You know what I do know is that the price of groceries as a whole has gone up over the last year, and no conservatives talking about it. Explain that one for me.
You know, I've been tracking that.
Okay.
We're living in inflationary times.
Oh, now they're just inflationary times. It's interesting that from 2020 to 2024, it was Biden's inflation. From 2024 to now, it just is a thing that happens.
No, it's directly connected to Biden's horrible management of the government, and Trump's going to fix it.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics is BS. Imagine saying that with your whole chest on camera. So when the data supports your argument, it's sacred truth, and when it doesn't, the entire federal government is lying. That's not critical thinking. That's just rejecting reality with extra steps. And my man's big evidence for prices going down is, because I shop. Bro, your local store having a sale on butter does not constitute a national economic trend. The other guy asked the simplest question possible. Does your personal experience reflect 300, there's 30 million people? And the silence that followed told you everything you needed to know. Anecdotes are not data, and volume is not accuracy, no matter how confidently you deliver it.
Let me say
What was
this.
the big thing? Wait, what do you think was what do you think was the number one thing that contributed to inflation through Biden's presidency?
I believe that, well, one thing was killing a bunch of chickens due to some mysterious. Well, that was
strike
Biden's
one.
reason.
Try
That
something
was
else. Try something else.
that
What
was
did anything else happen?
Is that not? Is
Did
that
anything
not,
else happen?
Wait, before
Yeah.
we go forward, is that not the reason that Biden said the price of eggs went up because they had to kill a bunch of chickens?
For at one point in time, it might have been, but that's not what we're talking about.
You also said grocery prices weren't going to go down, and they have. So
they haven't. Grocery prices have gone up according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
No, that's BS. You know what? In my own life, I have not.
Well,
They've
grocery
gone down
prices have gone up
significantly.
according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's a fact.
Well, so you want to take them as absolute fact, even though quite often they change. So I don't.
I'm
buy your
taking what the
statistics.
information is coming from the
The
Bureau of
price
Labor
of- the
Statistics
price of
as
butter
fact.
is
Absolutely.
almost half.
Even though there are slight marginal changes to the numbers over time, yes.
So the price of butter is about half. The price of eggs are easily less or more than half.
How do you identify that the prices are lower?
Because I shop. I'm an adult.
Okay, so the local store around you having a certain price, does that mean that's reflective of the entire country?
No, not necessarily.
No. So what is the best way of identifying what is going to be the price for the entire country? Is it by using the Bureau of Labor Statistics and polling and surveying all these different stores around the entire U.S. to determine price change?
based on what we
or is
just
it
talked
just
about,
by
Harper,
whatever
is that gonna be
Richard
valid
on the
in 6
live
months?
stream experiences at his local stores?
If the Strait of Hormuz is closed for 60 days, what does that look like for the U.S. and for Europe?
A crisis anywhere is a crisis everywhere. Price is going to go up for everyone. The oil market is not really thinking about 60 days. I think it's thinking more about 6 days at the moment. It will mean a significant oil shock. People say, oh, worst case scenario is $100 oil. On a truly worst case scenario, what I would call a really worst case scenario, I think that we go north of $200. We will need massive demand destruction. It will imply
$200 oil. Let that number sit with you for a second. In 2008, when oil hit $140, it helped trigger the worst financial crisis most of us have ever lived through. This analyst is saying we could blow past that number, and he's not being dramatic. He's being mathematical. Massive demand destruction is a fancy way of saying people can't afford to drive to work anymore. Businesses close, jobs disappear, the economy contracts, and suddenly everyone's affected, not just the people paying attention. And all of this traces back to a conflict that, according to intelligence officials, had zero justification, no imminent threat, no evidence of a planned strike. Just action first and figure out the reason later. That's not strength, that's recklessness with your money and your future on the line. So here's where we are. Gas spiking, groceries climbing, a war with no clear justification bleeding the economy dry, and the people who promise to fix all of this are the ones pouring gasoline on every fire. The numbers are right there. Beef, coffee, eggs, fuel, flights, electronics, all going up. My question for you is simple. What is your breaking point? At what price do you stop defending and start demanding better? Drop that in the comments. I want to hear it. Like, share, subscribe.